any field, a question comes up, well, who's the father of sociology or psychology or chemistry? Well, the question is, who's the father of HR? So I don't think we know, which says something about the profession. But if you ask a related question, who's the best HR person you've ever met? My answer would be Jack Welch. Now, Jack Welch was the CEO of GE, and he wasn't an HR person. That wasn't his job. But if you look at what he did and how he did it, it's the model we all ought to follow. So first of all, Jack, in his book and in his speeches, says very clear, he said, it's a crime that HR is rated so lowly. So if you look at a baseball team, you say, look, who would be rated higher? The person that brings in the talent, the that brings in A-Rod, or the thing that brings in the superstar, which would be the HR, the director of player personnel, or the CFO, which is the person that essentially counts the money or counts tickets. There's no doubt, in sports, in entertainment, if you bring in top people, you're king. But in business, the CFO is certainly more credible and held in more esteem. And Jack blames it on HR. It's the way we talk, the way we act. We need to realize we're the most important thing in a business. Some of the things he did were incredible. So most people in HR, they lawyer up, they're afraid to do tough stuff. Well, Jack just fired their ass. So he had a program where you fire the bottom 10% and you'll say, well, what about the bottom 10%? Well, at a university, the bottom 10% are D- students. So if you're a social worker, you want to protect these bottom dwellers, the answer is no. The answer is get rid of them, and you'll free up a spot where you might get a Tiger Woods, LeBron, or a superstar. So his practice of getting into the bottom is a great one we all ought to follow. Jack was a believer in brutally honest feedback. So once a quarter they had a session where you sit down, session C, and you'd work with employees and you tell them directly what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. You bring in the data, you'd show them. So frequent brutally honest feedback. He said it was a crime to lie to employees to make them think they were doing good when they weren't. And let's face it, most of our performance appraisal is a lie. It's postponing honest feedback. He rewarded people different than anyone else, so he's a believer in money. He didn't do work-life balance. He said, pay the top performers a huge amount, a huge differential, so everyone would know the difference. So top performers got all the stock options, top 20%. If you're at 21%, you got nothing. What clearer message to say performance matters, increasing the stock value matters, than rewarding the top 20%. Their bonuses are huge. Why? Because it gets your attention. It says performance matters. You give peanut butter bonuses where everyone gets 3%, some get 4%. What you're really saying is performance doesn't matter, and the top performers will figure it out right away. Jack put a huge development on training, huge emphasis. He has Crotonville, the most famous HR facility on the planet, and he put tons of money into training and developing leaders, because let's face it, leaders are more important. So in HR we tend to treat everyone the same, but the fact is leaders make a huge amount of a difference, and they certainly have a higher contribution to profit. So we need to focus on that. So if you ask me who's the best HR person, currently it would be the Google people, but in the past it would certainly be Jack Welch. He did it all, he wrote it up, he bragged about it, and the stock price showed his result, the performance of GE showed his result, and we can learn from all of that. So if you're dragging, you're having slow change, slow results, read Jack, talk to Jack. He's a dramatic HR person, and he never had the title.